Children killed and wounded in Russian strikes as Trump Putin summit plans falter. Intense Russian drone and missile attacks have left at least 7 dead, including 2 children, and dozens injured across Ukraine. A devastating strike on a kindergarten in Kharkiv, the country's second-largest city, added to the carnage, while Kyiv suffered widespread damage and a growing number of civilian casualties. The violence erupted just hours after US President Donald Trump announced that his anticipated summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Budapest had been put on hold, describing it as a wasted meeting. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky seized on the attacks to argue that Moscow has not faced sufficient pressure to end its war, rejecting recent calls for a ceasefire. The Kremlin, however, denied any ceasefire demand and insisted that preparations for a Trump-Putin meeting were still underway, despite Trump's assertion that the talks were shelved. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov emphasized that a summit remains a mutual desire and dismissed the surrounding speculation as gossip. In Oslo, Zelensky linked the stalled summit directly to his request for US-supplied Tomahawk missiles, calling the proposal to freeze the front line a good compromise, yet doubting Putin's support. The Ukrainian leader warned that without the promised long-range missiles, Russia loses interest in diplomatic engagement. Meanwhile, Russia's aerial onslaught continued, following Ukraine's recent strike on a Russian chemical plant in the Bryansk region with UK-made Storm Shadow missiles. Ukrainian officials described the Bryansk target as a facility producing gunpowder, explosives and rocket fuel components used against Ukraine. Bombardment also hit civilian homes. A woman and 2 children perished when their house in the village of Pohreby was set ablaze, and a couple in their 60s died after a drone struck their high-rise apartment in Kyiv. Additional victims included a 36-year-old woman, a 6-month-old infant, and a 12-year-old girl whose home was destroyed in the same village. In Kharkiv, a 40-year-old man was killed and 7 others wounded in the kindergarten attack, prompting the evacuation of dozens more residents. Ukraine's Air Force reported that Russia deployed 405 drones and 28 missiles, 15 of them ballistic, causing a prolonged ballistic missile warning over the capital. Rescue teams battled fires in residential districts throughout the night, and power outages spread as Russian strikes targeted energy infrastructure across the country. Kyiv MP Inar Sovsun told the BBC that the night-long raids left many without electricity or water, underscoring the humanitarian toll of the relentless assaults.